Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Ooh Ladies First Panel. Y'all already know what this page is for. Email us y'all's business at oohladiesfirstpanel@gmail.com. Inquiries, all types of stuff like that. Follow Bondi at Bondi Blue, Jamie at Jamie, that's me, and follow me at Nisi Dixon. Okay? Happy pre-Thursday.
Happy
How y'all doing?
pre-Thursday. Well, what's going on? What's
How you feeling?
up?
Yes,
How you
I
guys
love
out there?
this.
All right.
Come on.
Good.
Midnight Thunder.
I like to throw that voice out there every now and again.
Can y'all hear me okay?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. I was just making sure. I almost forgot to put on my headphones. I'll just put in my AirPod. But hey to y'all who are gonna be watching this on Thursday and those of y'all who are watching this live on Monday nights. Fresh right as soon as the show's premiered. So shout out to the members. How y'all feeling? Like y'all got through the first like work day of the week.
I'm feeling good. After I got some rest, I started getting tired. I feel like the rain really do be affecting my mood. It's like I don't be want to do
Yes.
nothing. It's supposed to rain for the rest of the week, but I'm good. I'm good. I'm chilling.
It's supposed to rain.
It's been
That's when
raining
I'll
here
be
too.
into my
It's been
documentaries.
raining.
Oh, there's a new one, right? That no, we need to watch that Casey Anthony one for sure.
I
Yes,
thought about it, and then I kind of felt like if I watch it, is she gonna be playing in my face?
of course.
I
I
think she's
do kind of
definitely
feel
playing in your
like
face.
she not lying on her daddy. I feel like some of what she's saying about her daddy is true.
Me too.
It's just the timing of why you waited so long. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm like, if y'all check it out, I'm gonna check it out with you.
Listen. I put it
Yeah.
on, and I was like, I'm about to fall asleep, so I can't finish it. So I turned it off. But I'm gonna try to watch it again. But I really do feel like, on some level, the way that Daddy had that shirt tucked into his pants, yeah, you seem like slightly abusive on some level. I don't know. I don't know. But I will say that she feels like she's a liar. Like when I hear her talking and stuff, I be like, I was watching, I was like, yeah, nah, bitch, you coming off a little like I can tell you trying to manipulate me. Like
Yeah.
I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
but I started to like peep when I can tell people trying to project. And she was
Mm-hmm.
coming out like at first I was like, okay, wait a minute. She seemed regular. As time went on in that episode, I was just kind of like, yeah, nah.
Mm.
I'm gonna have to watch it. We also gonna have to watch that Miss Cleo thing on HBO Max that you said.
Ooh, that's the one I really want to see.
Yes.
I remember Miss Cleo. I used to be at home. My mom used to have a home daycare. I used to be at home during nap time when we're supposed to be asleep, listening to Miss Cleo on the TV, on the commercials, talking to people like, "Oh my gosh, this Miss Cleo." Miss Cleo made me like Sylvia Brown, who used to come on the Montel Brown show. What's his last name? Was it
Sylvia
Montel Brown?
Brown. Yeah, Mark.
Yeah,
Was it
Montel Jordan.
Williams?
Montel
Montel
Williams.
Williams.
Williams,
Because
my
I knew
bad.
I was trying not to say Jordan, but I was like, he
Right.
got it. Yes, on the Montel Williams show. I gotta take my earring out. But yeah, I used to love like just listening to psychics and stuff like that. Mediums, I
Is
guess,
Sylvia
because
still around, or has she
she
passed?
passed away.
Really, Sylvia? No, Sylvia. I
I
think
looked it up
Sylvia
not too
used to
long
be
ago.
so accurate with her stuff. I
Yeah.
think I think she really was like a real one. What? She passed away in 2013.
Yeah, I looked it up. Didn't she have
Wow.
like cancer or something? She was sick.
Listen. I
I'm
don't
not
I don't
sure.
remember. I remember the name, but I don't remember watching her as much. But I'm gonna tell y'all this. People who think that that shit not real, it really do be real on some level. I can't even tell y'all how many like because I listen to a lot of like tarot on my horoscope. So I watch Serendipity Tarot.
Wait,
Serendipity
so
Tarot.
you watch digital that's the thing that where I haven't done that. You like sometimes TikTok pop up and YouTube. You watch the digital tarot?
No, I watch like YouTubers do tarot on your horoscope.
Yeah, I
So
used to
for,
watch that
so
a
for
lot.
like the Geminis, they'll throw out, whatever's going on, they'll do a card for the Gemini
Oh.
and then they'll
I had
read you.
Tisa Tells do it on me once, but I didn't know if it was like really
There's
real.
one lady, and I'm gonna try to find her. I cannot remember her name. She's a white lady. When I tell you this lady be so accurate with my stuff, and I listen to her for all the three different, sun, moon, rising, or whatever. That lady
Hmm.
be on his on, and I've been trying to find her lately. I'm like, what is that lady now? I cannot remember her, but when I find her, I'll share her with
Yeah.
y'all.
Serendipity Tarot been reading me the fuck down
Oh, that's who
repeatedly.
it is.
I don't know if I heard
Like
of her.
she is on point with me. Like whenever she does a Gemini Tarot, she on point. And I'm not gonna lie, it's a new girl that I just started watching, and she only do Geminis for the most part. And her stuff is good too because she knows that, like, she's been talking about me being in discourse with somebody, and anybody that knows me
Mm.
right now knows that I actually,
Right, that's why I said,
Right, right,
yes.
right.
So she no, she don't just do Geminis, but her name is Love Peace Genesis on YouTube. She's
Mhm.
good too. So like it's funny because like I'll be like, man, that shit ain't real. You sit there and listen to that shit and watch how that shit will like actually be about for videos in a row, like on it, especially Serendipity Tarot. She be on it with me. So yeah,
I'm
it's
find this
crazy how like you
lady.
think that shit not real until like you be listening to some people and they really do be spot on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had I used to reach out to somebody on this app. He had like a really good rating. And I was inquiring when I was trying to leave a job about two different jobs. One of the jobs I really wanted was like the Coca-Cola job, but it was kind of like stalling a little bit. And he told me the Coca-Cola job is going to pass you, but you're going to get another opportunity that's you're going to be more satisfied with. And I got it. The other opportunity. I did get it shortly thereafter, but the Coca-Cola opportunity actually passed me because I did not want it. So they hit me up like 3 weeks after I was already into this other job, or maybe a month, and I was like, "Oh, I'm liking this." Da, 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 da. And they hit me up asking me to do another interview. So I made sure I wasn't interested in the interview, and they could kind of tell, like I kind of bombed it or whatever, because I'm like, I don't want to work for y'all. Like I'm good with where I'm at. And it actually ended up being a really good job in commercial real estate. So he wasn't lying. And then he told me about one of my exes. We had stopped talking and stuff. And then he was like, oh, he's going to come back around in like 2 months, this and that. And he wasn't lying, but I wish he was.
The timing was right.
Because he wasn't, huh?
So did he really come back around in the 2 months?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He did.
Wow.
He did.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That is crazy.
I'm about
So
to
he
DM
was.
Mina Lilith. Somebody in the comments said that Mina Lilith is good with tarot too. So I'm gonna see if
Oh,
she'll
she
be
does
here
tarot?
real.
Oh,
I
she
thought
does
she,
that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I knew she does it, but I've never seen her do it on her channel. So I'm like, oh, you want to read me on camera?
Yeah, that would be
I did not
fun.
know that.
Well, all right. I just realized I don't have a graphic for Potomac, but let's go ahead. What we gonna do
Yes, me
a
too.
little bit different
We don't
today?
need it. We know what the hoes look like.
Right. We gonna do different a little bit today. Usually we do gossip at the end, but we gonna give y'all a gossip sandwich today. So let's go ahead and get into our little theme song for the gossip. All right. So usually one of the things that this reminds me of how like in this day and age, people get canceled for their old tweets. But how about Jerry Jones and people being outraged about him being, I guess, caught in a historic photo of the desegregation demonstration of the Little Rock, Arkansas people, or North Little Rock High School. So basically, this photo resurfaced. We see Jimmy Jones. We see Jerry Jones, who's the owner of the Cowboys, and in this circled image right here is 1957. He is then 14 or 15 years old, and he's seen basically with a group of people who's trying to stop the black students from the desegregation of going to the Little Rock High School back in 1957. So
Mm.
this is something that is not new. It came back up. And LeBron on the 30th, he, he wanted all the smoke in his press conference. On the 30th, LeBron asked the media after a game, I think it's funny that y'all are asking me about Kyrie, but nobody has asked me about the Jerry Jones photo.
Ooh.
Um, and I love that LeBron was there with all the smoke because it's like, yeah, y'all haven't asked me about it. And I found it interesting because whenever I was actually doing the research, I searched Jerry Jones and I went to the news filter thinking that the first thing that popped up in the news would be this Jerry Jones Little Rock photo. Oh, Jerry Jones. But it actually wasn't. So, to LeBron's point, the media is not pressed to even talk about Jerry Jones being seen in this photo, right? So, following that, Dak Prescott, who plays for the Cowboys, y'all know we ain't no sports channel, but whatever. Um, Prescott, who plays for the Cowboys, he had to comment on it the next day after LeBron. So Dak Prescott, his answer to me was very much giving like an all lives matter, but he says to summarize that he hasn't fully processed it yet. But he also says that everyone should give grace to one another. Times are
Wow.
different. Here's a quote. Let me read from Dak. He said, obviously, we can be more empathetic and give grace to one another regardless of race. From the times we've come to where we are now, thinking about the growth we've had, that's who I am, how I think, optimistic. I mean, as a guy who is completely biracial, black and white, it's easy for me to speak on race, one side or another. So Prescott, he just added that the incident occurred 65 years ago and times have changed. So I wanted to ask y'all, what do y'all think? Like, we often talk about the tweets resurfacing, but what do y'all think about Jerry Jones being, resurfacing this photo from 1957? Now he's 80 years old.
Has Jerry come out and said anything himself?
He did. I cannot find. Oh, he said he often asks himself, "Why didn't you do more? Why didn't you get up and have them come up on the bus and sit rather than standing back there? Why didn't you do more?"
Child, good night.
Girl.
Jerry, instead of asking yourself why you did more or why you didn't do more, I need you to just accept and own up to your actions. Now, granted, I do believe when it comes to pulling things from the past into the into the present, sometimes that's not where a person is. And I'm not just speaking for Jerry, I'm just speaking in general. Like if I say girl, this is reverse. Let me not say that. But let me just say I don't like, let's say I ain't like Drake or whatever. And I was talking mess about Drake. And then over the years, I've grown to really like Drake. Like, why am I being held to, where I was at that time versus where I am now? You know what I'm saying? So I do feel like people do deserve a bit of grace, because if there was a spotlight put on everybody and things that they have done in the past, nobody would be shining bright. It would be, you know what I'm saying? Y'all be looking stupid, period. But it hits different when it's a white person. I'm not even gonna lie,
Talk
because
about it.
it's like I feel like you meant how you was when you was at, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
I feel like you meant who you
You meant
meant
that
your
shit.
actions at
You
that
meant that
time,
shit.
and
Yeah.
your privilege has allowed you to go on to be in the status that you're in at this very moment. So it's like, instead of just sitting up there wondering and wishing why you didn't do more, just acknowledge, you know what I'm saying, that you full of shit and that you was racist or is or whatever the case is. Like, just acknowledge that.
Mhm. See, I don't give any grace, because I feel like it's impossible for me to give grace to the football team owner. Because to me,
Hmm.
football within itself is like, a microcosm of racism.
Hmm.
Like, strong men stand on this stage so we can buy y'all, and then we pay y'all to run up and down the field and tire yourselves out until y'all can't anymore, and we give y'all a fraction of the pay that we make off of
Hmm.
y'all body. And then once
Hmm.
y'all are all decrepit and y'all can't remember your own names and you're eating out of a bowl, um we don't do anything for you. And we get to live rich, wonderful, comfortable lives being the owners of these teams. So I feel like essentially Jerry Jones is exactly the same person that he was back then. I just think now the world has changed. So you can't be that person in front of a camera and still have everything that you have. You know what I'm
I
saying?
think that's
But
true.
as far as LeBron is concerned, I'm looking at LeBron like, if you don't get out my face with this, because I feel
Hmm.
like that was a deflection from the fact that they felt like you sold Kyrie out. As soon as you got up there, you separated yourself from Kyrie when all of that stuff first happened, and people called
What
you
do you
out
mean?
about
Oh,
it.
he did.
Oh yeah, he was like, I don't know why he would say that. That's
Absolutely.
crazy. You know what I'm
Yeah, he
saying?
did.
So he separated himself. And now you want to try to circle back and fix it But to me, I feel like I'm still mad at him for the shit that happened with Meg Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez. Like when that came out and he posted, he's still listening to Tory Lanez and shit, he showed support for him recently, even after everything that's happened. So I feel like LeBron is secretly problematic as fuck and has learned to be quiet so that he doesn't like show people how problematic he is. But to me, him in this moment, I'm not surprised that Jerry Jones racism. He's a rich white man. That makes sense to me. You trying to throw the attention in another direction because you don't want to be held accountable for how you sold Kyrie up the river. That's hilarious to me.
And the sad thing is, it's not like Jerry Jones taking ownership for, his ways then and now or throughout, whatever. The sad part is that it's not going to affect anything. He gonna still be able to be the owner and still be able to have all this money or whatever. Like, it's not going. Are they even in talks of taking anything from him? Because had this been Kanye West, in all honesty, as problematic as he has been, and he had something like this for many years ago, y'all will really be snatching everything. Y'all will be trying to snatch the color up off the man's skin.
Yeah.
Right.
And we know this, but see, the reason why this isn't a big deal is because white people have understood that we are like this. We just can't show this anymore. So no,
right, we can't show this anymore. Say that, Bondi.
We just can't show it anymore. Everybody knows that. So nobody's surprised. Nobody cares because everybody already knows what it is.
Right.
Say that. And then, like, for Dak, I really hate that. The money must be nice for him to be like, as a completely biracial, partially biracial, as a completely biracial person, everyone should be given grace. It's like, dang, I just wish you didn't really even have to speak on that, Dak.
Now, who said that part?
Dak Prescott, I think he's the quarterback for the Cowboys.
Not the one that Kenya took the picture with.
Yes, that's Dak.
Don't he got a white girlfriend? Not completely biracial.
Yeah, he do. He got a white girlfriend. Yeah, that's Dak.
Wow.
Right. Okay, so I have a question for y'all. Would y'all ever date a coworker?
I have.
Yeah, I have.
Both of y'all said I have. How did that end up?
It was a great experience, but a terrible relationship.
It was good until it wasn't. No.
Did it affect y'all's work?
No.
Wow, y'all know how to handle y'all stuff.
Because we had different teams. They were on one team, I was on another team, so it wasn't like we really crossed lines to really affect.
I think we were working in the same building until we started dating, and then when we started dating, he worked in another building. They sent him back to the main building.
Perfect. Well, the reason why I was asking y'all that is because I wanted to talk to y'all about Amy Robach and Robach, however you say her last name, and TJ Holmes, the anchors on Good Morning America. So, y'all, if y'all haven't heard, I think it was released like probably only a week ago that both Amy and TJ Holmes filed for divorce or separation from their partners because they're having an affair with each other. They've been co-workers for a year, and they were spotted out camping where TJ Holmes got his hand in her back pocket. And I'm saying back pocket because he was trying to grab ass, but it didn't look like he was grabbing anything. And, the wife of TJ Holmes was saying that she was taken aback because they were just working on things in August. Not only that, y'all, we just found out today that both Amy Robach and TJ Holmes were taken off the air. Now, they say that it's not because of the affair, because they technically haven't violated anything when it comes to company procedures. They were taken off the air for other things while they figure this out. So, how do y'all feel about this? How do y'all feel about them leaving their partners not only for it's messy?
Yeah, and the people were saying that this ain't the first time that he cheated on his wife. I just think, it's sad, but I think TJ's fake. Ultimately, I think that this other lady, she ain't nothing either. Both of y'all was married and y'all out here doing that, embarrassing the people. His wife looked gorgeous, and then you go and get with this lady that's not gonna age well. Like, I hate that for you, but karma is going to beat your ass. As far as them being kicked off, well, I ain't gonna say kicked off the show, but removed for the time being. Yeah, of course they weren't removed because of their relationship. I do feel like the people in the news area, I think they in the news station, they knew. I think quite a few. I mean, come on, the news station don't be that big. And I just feel like people see stuff, and Bondi would know because she's worked in one. People see stuff and then stuff get to talking, and then it's really not too different than a corporate environment. So people are going to
Well,
notice when
people
people
at
are
their
drawing
news
closer
station,
to each other. Huh?
they said nobody had a clue of the affair who
Oh,
worked
that's
at
a
the
Of
news
lie.
course, because they don't want to be implicated in the
Yes,
BS.
but that's a
And they
lie.
don't want the
station.
backlash, which is the real reason why they were pulled from the show, not the relationship, because they said they weren't going to do anything about it, right? But now, as
Yeah.
they're
It's a
getting more
distraction.
backlash, that's why they being ripped from the show for right
That's what
now.
they said. They said it was a distraction, and it is a distraction. But I'm gonna say this: working in a news station, you listen, you absolutely find out who is zooming who. Child, I ain't gonna tell y'all who was zooming who at my station, but child, it was, it was something. Listen, she got promoted, so
Oh wow.
you
Mhm.
know, she
That's
got
how it
promoted.
goes.
She was working her, her angles all the way through. She was
Um,
working her.
All the angles.
Yes,
was
because it
she
wasn't just through that. It wasn't just through that relationship. It was through her other relationship that wasn't like a romantic one, but it was like an ass kissing one. You know what I'm saying? So she was ass kissing and dick sucking. So
was she the same
Wow.
complexion as an 8x11 paper napkin?
yeah,
Of course.
they
Of
were
course.
Caucasian. Everybody was
I
Caucasian.
feel
Black people
like
don't get away with
only
shit
they
like this.
risking their damn jobs like that. Like
Black people don't get
that's
away with this. Mm-mm.
no, not at all. Not at all.
Nah. And then you
Um,
are absolutely right because his wife looked young. And he looked like hot with his wife, but with the white
yeah,
lady, he looked lame and whack. It's weird.
Very much
yeah.
so. What a
Dang, it was
disappointment,
something else I was
TJ.
gonna say. I can't even remember what it was when it comes to them. I can't remember what something else I was gonna add, but
Well, did you see the message that he wrote to his wife on the
n-
birthday? It was like
no.
this long ass,
Oh, I
this
was
long
gonna
ass message.
say that the couples have hung out together
Yeah,
too. That's what
of
I was
course.
gonna say. They ran 5Ks together.
Wow. How embarrassing, bro.
Yeah, so it's not even like the husband didn't, or Amy's husband didn't know this man. They knew each other.
Mm.
They was friends. They was running
And then they
together.
even cracked a joke on air saying that it's been an interesting week or something, TJ said. And Miss Ma'am,
Ooh,
Amy over there cracking the hell up. She just find
ooh.
it so funny.
I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I probably would have laughed too.
I guess she had no choice but to laugh.
Yeah, because I
Hell.
mean, it is funny. Fuck, it's just it hurt some people's feelings, but I mean, you getting away with the penis you wanted, so I guess it's funny.
Ooh. It kind of reminds me of how whenever Portia
Yes,
and whenever
yes.
Portia and Simon are misusing the hashtag love wins. I don't know why, but for me personally, I feel like love wins is slated for
Relationships
non
that are forbidden, for real though.
yes, yes, relationships that are truly forbidden,
Forbidden. Yes.
like same sex, those types of things. And
Interracial.
y'all's trifling asses is trying to take a new meaning to hashtag love wins. I don't. They haven't said it. Amy and TJ have not said love wins, but the way that they are, not ashamed or embarrassed about it, is very much giving love wins.
Mm-hmm.
You
They
know
not
what
a
I
because you know what it is? They told their people before it came out. So I think because their people knew they didn't care. Once everybody else found out, like, well, my spouse knew. So if y'all find out, I
Us
don't really
against
give
the
a fuck.
world.
she better be glad that that lady can't sue her for taking her man knowing that she was working on air.
Mm.
Can she? Depend on what state they in.
I mean, I was
New
looking it
York?
up, and New
Is
York is
today in New
not one
York?
of those states. But I
Damn,
still
they ain't
feel
gonna
like she
get
need to
sued
sue
like
her for some
Fantasia
type of
did.
emotional distress, like period, and embarrassment, or at
Oh
least sue
Lord.
him.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, that is emotional distress, no lie. Well, all right, y'all. those are our two gossip chats, y'all. Don't forget, we about to get into the TV shows, and then we got gossip again at the end for y'all. Okay, so now it's our favorite segment, TV. All right. So this week of Love Merge, y'all. The past three episodes,
I know, I
lightweight,
could tell from the side.
lightweight have been kind of boring.
Kinda.
Yeah,
Come
I'm
on.
trying to be nice. They've been boring. Like literally, the past three episodes you could combine into one episode for me. Is how I feel about it. We are, and honestly, y'all, I feel like what we're seeing is they stopped filming for the actual season part A. This fight happened. They got the network to give them a couple more episodes, and now that we've seen the fight, they don't have anything else to show. So now they're just stretching the whole season out because they had to show us the fight in order to give like same season part two.
And I think Kimmy's cancer diagnosis too is what made them think they probably needed to just go ahead and prolong the season. Because those are the
Yes.
only two things. I think that's
Yeah.
probably why
Yeah.
Mel invited him on this trip.
You think she was like made to? Like she
Or
had to go
maybe it
to the
was
Madani?
suggested. It was suggested that it would make sense because she hadn't been in a show that much this season. So, because remember the whole first half of the season, it was mostly the Scots and their bullshit. So it really didn't get about Mel until the Madani, and all of that shit.
Mhm.
So I really do feel like they probably told Mel that way we can round it out and it'll have more of you in it because people have been complaining this season didn't have enough of you in it. That way we can have that moment. And probably because her and Martell were in a better place at that moment because of the fight. It
Yeah.
was like a good opportunity for everybody to, just get a little bit more tape.
Yeah.
Thank you. But I
Yeah,
don't
man.
think that, yeah, it feels like it was forced. Because, like, think about it. When Tisha and Marceau came, it was like,
Yeah,
I
that
do
felt
not
forced.
want this, but I know I have to do it because we got a tape. That's what it felt like.
Even they seemed like they didn't really want to be there.
Mm-hmm. Y'all just so happened to be
Really?
in Pensacola.
To me, I didn't think it seemed like
You
no,
talking about
I
Tisha
didn't.
and them felt like they didn't want to be there?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
it
don't.
felt a
I didn't
little.
think they wanted to
I
be there
didn't
either.
catch that.
I feel like their vibe to me, and this is I could be tripping, but I feel like Mel felt like, oh, so y'all in cahoots. Because that's what it felt like. It feels like Martell is still holding something over Marceau's head. Like, see, we got in that fight, but I ain't spraying.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
won't
He
you,
is.
come around and make Mel remember what it was like when we were all together and we used to kick it, remind her of the good
Hilarious.
old days. Maybe she'll get some nostalgia. We're gonna be on vacation. Her defenses will be down. I think it was a plan set up by Martell with their help to try to show Mel what it could be like if they get back together. That's why Tisha and them's conversation was, this is the Mel and Martell that we know. Like, girl, shut up. That's
Yeah.
I would still put that on production.
them
I
too.
could see production wanting that just as much as Martell
Oh yeah,
to see
Carlos
if
and
they'll come back
Martell,
together.
think
Yeah,
about it.
Martell wanted somebody to see them together because he knew that they was gonna
He really
egg on
did.
it. So he
That's
was
why
like,
he had them
"Look
sit
at me."
separate. That's
Yeah,
why he
That's
had
look at
why
them
that.
sit separate. That way
he
it
could
could look
not
like
stand when she would shoot him down because it was
ooh,
going against what he was trying
Chad.
to sell to somebody else. The idea of possibly like he was getting his own feelings hurt a bit.
He was doing it to himself and then turning around and acting like she was throwing jabs at him. I was like, she should honestly,
Yeah,
she
he
should
was.
she should
I
paper
do
cut the
think she
fuck
was
out
kind of
your
throwing
ass.
some of. I think she was kind of throwing some
Oh
jabs though. I
yeah,
think
she
she was
was.
trying to like test to see if he's really changed. Like, or have you really changed like you say you have? So I think she
think
She
it
was
was to
doing
put
it
was.
boundaries
purposely.
in place. I think it because
Let
to
me.
me, it didn't start until after the Scots got there.
That well, yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
right.
that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But
So
let me ask y'all this before we go there. Okay, y'all let me know if it was just me. But whenever the moms were sitting down and Mel was asking Mama Ho about, what it was like when the kids was grown, when Martell was a kid, did
yeah.
Mhm.
y'all sense some shade coming from Mama Hope when she said I had to work two jobs? It's
Mhm.
much different than what y'all experienced. And to me, I felt
Yes.
like that was coming off the guise of, girl, you barely work. I worked.
Yes.
I didn't
Yeah,
get
when she said,
that.
I would have loved for my children's father to be a part of their life. You know, when she said that shit, that's when I caught it. Because she keeps she keeps putting it out there
Ah,
that Mel
uh-huh.
should have just been happy because
Yeah,
Martell was a
was
present
there.
parent. So, I
Got
want to
you.
teach Martell, was his daddy was like him. That's what it felt like she was saying in that moment. But I think Mel was trying to get Martell to see how his mom is dismissive of the truth, and he does the same thing. They
Mm.
Hmm.
I
like,
didn't even
they'll
catch
ignore
that.
the truth.
Yeah.
I was more so just thinking about her because I feel like she was right. Like things were different for her being a single mama. Because if you work in two jobs, there's no way that you really at home with your children.
Right.
And then the other thing that was interesting was her feeling as though it's whining when your child comes to you and tell you that they're being
Exactly.
Yeah.
bullied. But here's
Yeah.
the thing for me, I do feel like Miss Mama Hope and her generation do truly think that, old people, they older, they get stuck in their
They do.
ways. We're more aware of how that affects us or affects
Hmm.
our kids because now we're having to undo the damage that y'all thought was okay.
Right. But see,
Yeah.
the issue for me though with the conversation was how Martell, it was this moment. Okay, so it's this moment where I feel like Mel is like, remember Martell, you were bullied, right? And Martell is like, yeah. And then she mentions the grandmama. You had the grandmama's help, right? And Martell was like, yeah. And then she says, well, I really couldn't drop my kids off to my mama like that. And I feel like that was the moment right there where it was like Mel was looking at Martell like, do you see that she's lying right now? Do you
Mm,
recognize that she's lying to you right now? Okay.
Hmm.
So when we have a conversation later on about the truth of something and you lie to me, I want you to see why you do it.
mm,
Like, I really feel like Mel has been in therapy. So she understands that the reason why Martell has this inability to be honest because of shame. And it's because
Mm.
that's the way his mama has been with him because she lying about the grandmama being involved. If Martell wasn't dropped off by his grandmama that much, can you explain to me why he named that wine after her?
it's twofold, Bondi. It's one of them is what you said, based on seeing how his mama moves with her lies. He learned that behavior. But the other thing, if you heard what she said, if they weren't falling in alignment with what she wanted, she automatically beat their ass. So in an
Yeah.
effort for him to avoid from getting that whooping, he
He
would
didn't say
lie. So
nothing.
when he would be in trouble with Mel, he would think the best
Mm.
way to back out of it would be for him to just lie instead of keeping it honest. But still, I see what you're saying because I feel like that was still Mel trying to pinpoint. Do you see how problematic your mom has been to raising you into the man that you are?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because see, I think it goes back, okay, because I was watching because y'all know I be watching everybody reviews. I was watching Roxanne review and she made a good point. She was like, Mel didn't want to talk about the past when when it brings up the marriage, but she wants to talk about the past with his mama. I'm like, because they not together anymore. So what happened in their marriage is of no consequence, but you're still the same person. So
Mm,
you
Yeah.
need to figure out why you're still like this. Because remember what he said when they went to dinner? Oh, I
I
want
want
to
to grow.
know. Yeah, so I don't make
yeah.
the same mistake again. Well, I can't give it to you, but I'm pointing in the direction that you need to go in. Marlene, go to therapy with Francis, Dr. Francis, and talk about Marlene. Okay? Because that's who you're really mad at, I think.
Mm,
Yeah. Yeah. I can see that.
interesting.
I thought it was funny though when you said why did he name that wine after his grandmama if she wasn't around. But he didn't even say nothing about the damn grandmama. So that's why I made that face. I was like, why did he?
Hmm.
Yeah. So the
Damn.
only other scene that we got outside of that, which I want to talk about the dinner scene, but we might as well get the Scott brothers out the way before we jump back into Mel and Martell. So
Mhm.
we see Maurice and Marceau sit down and have a heart to heart where Marceau is basically like, it's okay to be sad because Maurice is carrying the guilt of, I guess he felt like he deterred Kimmy from getting her regularly scheduled mammogram by focusing on some other stuff. I felt really bad for him. Really bad. He said, every time I get something I love, it's like it's taken away from me.
Mm. Mm.
Hmm.
I kind of I I appreciate the vulnerability between both of the brothers because I feel like I've never seen Marcel like that. But I will say some part of me was like, Maurice, and you should feel bad for what you said.
Really?
However, yes, but then I
Don't
had the
blame
other
yourself for
thought that was
cancer.
like,
Don't
say
blame
what?
yourself for the cancer. But yeah, because you
Yeah,
shouldn't have been trying to force that on her, and you were. I said the same thing, James.
right. But I
It's
did
control.
feel like, dang, but he didn't know about the cancer. So, I mean, neither
Right.
did she. And maybe it just happened this year and she just happened to catch. I don't know. But I mean, yeah, you'll be doing some FS as though
You worked that
it's
lady to
all
death.
about you.
I
Like you're
can
the only
tell the
person
way
in
that
this
both of y'all,
relationship.
the way that both of y'all said, when I said I felt sad, y'all said, like I knew immediately y'all felt otherwise. I was like, oh, just me.
Not that it's not sad, because when him and Marceau were crying, I really did feel like that was genuine. I think he does care about her, and he doesn't want her to pass or to be sick. But I also feel like it's because he wants her to continue to be a workhorse for him. Like on some level, it's because she's not going to be able to be the sex workhorse that you want her to be. And that's upsetting. But I also feel like him being there and taking care of her is the deciding factor in if you really love that lady or not. And if you really there and you taking care of her, then I don't really have anything bad to say. I'm gonna give you grace. But in my mind, I'm like, I hope you realize that this probably happened so you can work on your control issues, because you do push your feelings on everybody. He does that. He did that to her to change her job so that she, could be a real estate agent. He does it with Jalen. He does it with his son. We found out his son played baseball, football, all kind of shit. And you still sitting up there talking about the little boy ain't doing enough. Like, what are you talking about?
Right.
So
Yeah.
I think he has a lot of regrets about the way he lived his life. I think the Scott men look for women to take care of them. And I think at some point when he was married to Kiowa, he was letting Kiowa take care of his ass. And now he has maybe some regrets about, not doing enough to jumpstart a career for himself. So in the second chapter of Maurice's life, he's trying to be all the things that he wished he would have been the first go round. Remember, he lost weight, he went to school, he got the law degree. Now he's a whole different person. He was a barber. He was a fat barber getting cheated on by his wife. And now he's the one of the better looking Scott brothers. He doesn't have the hips.
That's true.
He has a beautiful wife who is smart and helps take care of him, and they have business and all of that. His life is turned around, and now it's like, damn, but I really would like for him to take stock of the way he treats her, because y'all know what we talked about when we was questioning if she had cancer or not, about how when somebody is constantly pushing shit under, that can affect their health in some respect.
Yes.
So, he better make this as easy as he can for her. And I feel like he is.
I agree.
Based on what we've seen.
I think, there should be a change behavior overall when it comes to Kimmy. Like, not just this process, but once she comes out of this cancer, like, you still need to change yourself. Like, don't just be crying in the moment, feeling bad for your actions because she has cancer. Like, adore your wife. Do better.
Ooh, somebody said it seemed like Kimmy loved nursing and real estate. I think she did. I think he didn't want her to do both. I think he wanted her to stop doing nursing because that was too demanding. And she can do real estate and have a freer schedule.
And because Maurice has this thing with Marcel that he always has to compete with his younger brother. So seeing how Tisha works with Marcel in whatever field they work in as far as real estate, he wanted the same thing. And he got to chill out with all that.
Yeah,
Kimmy is not Tisha. Like, calm down.
That is a big point.
Lately she's been like her a little bit, but
high key. She has.
I wonder maybe if she just didn't want to fight, knowing everything that was going on.
I mean, I feel like she didn't know at first, and she just, she didn't want to fight.
No, I'm
not you feeling no all towards Maurice that you just said.
No, I'm just saying, like, the way that she was handling her husband on the show, like, Kimmy basically put a mirror up to Tisha, and if you could see through the other side, you can see Kimmy. That's how I was feeling. Whatever she said, what she said to Martell last season, when it was like, you bring chaos or something in your environment.
Mm-hmm.
I swear, every time I talk about Kimmy in my reviews this season, outside of the cancer scenario, I have mentioned that because if she didn't show her ass in that moment, like literally, your card said, Martell, you bring chaos, and if my husband is around, you a ticking time bomb, and we don't want none of the smoke, so you can't come to the housewarming party. So to me, I felt like she was very much operating the way that Tisha was, and we probably would have seen more than that if her health hadn't taken a turn. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel for her, and I pray she has a speedy, good recovery and
Me
everything.
too.
But the way that she managed her husband was very much given. Oh, I see why you're a Scott wife. You're not that much different.
Mm.
Mm.
She's not
Yeah.
that much different, no.
Because you know why? Because I think for a lot of us, when we see a woman that's in her 50s, finally, getting married after, years of not being married and, raising a son on your own, especially when they look like Kimmy, successful like Kimmy, you think it's because they've made a choice to not accept less than they deserve. And then
Mm-hmm.
they get with somebody and it's like almost like low key, finally I found a man so I can just accept bullshit because I got a man. Thank God. I thought I wasn't gonna get one before the end of my time here or some shit like that. Like who else did that? It was somebody else
But
who.
low key, I can see. I don't know if I would look at it that way because Maurice doesn't seem as full of shit to me as his brother. I think Maurice probably Jamie the face. I think
Jamie hit that
for
ear. Well.
I think
I'm
that
gonna tell
they're
you.
good at like manipulating, but I don't get the same vibes. I feel like we just see all of Maurice's flaws on TV, so it kind of seems like, oh well, Kimmy, you just settled for this man. But I really don't feel like he's as bad as Marcel.
Can
I
we
think you
rewind?
kind of got a point, but I definitely think Bondi has a point too, as far as like the settling type thing. Like, I finally got a man. Like, we overlooking the fact that Kimmy set up a whole haircut appointment with her son so that she can go and grab this man up.
Really?
Like,
What she do?
girl, yeah,
Yeah,
you didn't hear her say that?
No,
yeah.
what she say?
So he was a barber at the time, and she had saw him on Facebook or whatever. So she hopped in
Maurice.
his Maurice. So she hopped in his
Damn.
DMs,
He'd have
and
been
she
a
was like,
barber,
"Hey,
a credit repair specialist, a lawyer, a real estate. What the fuck?
yes, yes, yes." She hopped in his DMs and said, I heard you do hair. I heard you cut hair or whatever." He was like, "Yeah." She was like, "Well, I have a son that needs their haircut." So he came over to our house, cut her son's hair, and then that's how their friendship developed into a relationship or whatever. Like, she was on his head top from the beginning.
Oh.
And he didn't even know. And remember, he was out here soaring his royal oats. He was fucking with everybody. He fucked 6 girls in a day before him and Kimmy decided to move in together. And let's not forget, when they moved in together, she helped him go through school.
Mm.
Not why she helped
Mm.
Jalen. She did.
She sure did.
Wow, wow,
Mm.
He was
wow.
in law school and they were living together and she was taking care of him and helping him and he was doing all the studying and y'all remember what she said, he don't help around the house. So you working, you a nurse, you taking care of your son. When Monster's there, you helping take care of him. He's in school, so he needs you to do more than you normally would. He didn't really start getting everything together until like what, these past 2 seasons.
It makes sense why she was doing everything around the house because it was her house. He probably didn't feel comfortable navigating throughout that lady house,
Oh,
even though he should
comfortable.
have been because you her man and stuff. And what you look like being the man of the house in front of her child and you ain't doing anything. But maybe her son was off to college or whatever. But
Maybe,
yeah,
yeah, because
and
he
he
just
carried
graduated from
on
college, huh?
with that. So what?
He
Did
just
he? They were together, I think, when he was in college.
No, I'm talking about Jalen. Jalen just graduated from college.
Oh yeah, he
Yeah, he
did.
just
Just got
graduated
recently.
last
Yeah,
year.
he did.
Yeah, and it's been what for you? So yeah, like they've been together since Jalen was in high school, probably.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's right.
And I think
Mm.
I think that Kimmy sees the check boxes with Maurice. I think that's what it was
Check
about.
boxes, you're right.
But I think he still is good at manipulating people into making it seem as if he's not as dependent upon a woman as he is. Because she looked tired and worn out before we found out about the cancer. Like before we found out about it, she was already tired because he was running her ragged, doing everything all the time. So, I I think if they weren't
Yeah.
on TV, I would wonder how he would handle this situation if they weren't on TV.
Huh.
And I'm gonna just say it like that.
That's a good point. Now let me ask y'all about this dinner. So at the end of the episode, we see that the family goes to dinner. When I say the family, I'm talking about the Holts. Martell books a separate table for him and Mel. And I kind of know what y'all gonna say. I feel like I know what y'all gonna say. But this is where I was at. If I had never, and I said this in the review, if I had never seen the show before and this was my first time watching the show, I probably would have thought that Mel came across as bitter and that Martell was being truthful. If that was my first time watching the show. But
Mm.
because we know Martell and his intention, which is to get back with her, I don't care if I think he just has gotten to the point to where if a friendship is what she's willing to extend, he'll do that in order to build his way back up. So I kind of felt away when he said, I give a little bit, you should give a little bit in
I
terms
did
of
too.
rehashing a relationship. Right. I think he was upset because he felt rejected. She simply told him that they could move on, but to me, I feel like he wanted something more. And I was with Mel when she said that this isn't really the trip to discuss that. Like, we don't need to discuss it at all. All we have to do is move forward. I didn't think that she was being bitter, but I definitely feel like if I beef with somebody and we fell out and all of a sudden we cool again, I'm definitely gonna make jokes and crack jokes at the stuff that she was saying in the past because I'm petty like that. But I didn't think she was saying nothing that serious. So do y'all think that Martell was being authentic?
No, I think
Martell was
everything he,
exactly what you said.
yeah.
That man took that trip
Hmm.
trying to get that friendship. He thinks that this is a situation how it always is when they get ready to separate. Like, okay, y'all separate, whatever, then we get back together. He thought that's what it was going to be. And it's just not. She's just not at that place. And if she's not, and it really shows his true agenda, in my
Hmm.
opinion, because she told him we shouldn't talk about that. And the fact that you want to continue to bring that up lets us know your hidden agenda, which was to try
Mm-hmm.
to get back in and get your family back. And it's over.
Mm.
You got to just accept it. Take that
And
L, hold that.
then when he realized he was losing the conversation, he was losing the battle because you want to ask me how we got here and all of this shit. Um, really, he was upset when she said, he asked her about the trip, and she was honest about how she felt about him inviting the Scots, and he felt a way about that, and she, brings up him being, ringleader of being
Mm.
against her, and he says, "What are you talking about?" And see that right there, you're not being honest. You can't come and give me this heartwarming apology about how you don't have to place blame on me anymore and you can be honest. Well, first of all, you started out this fucking conversation acting like you cheated because I did something wrong when we know that that's not the case. Because you were still getting your dick sucked and you were still having sex because we were still getting pregnant. So don't act like
Mm-hmm.
I withheld something from you and that's why you cheated. That's a lie and you running with that. So you started off this conversation lying. Then we get to the middle of the conversation and you lying about you being in cahoots against me. And then you want to give me this apology that sounds good, but if it was the truth, you will be being honest about all of the things that you've done, and you're not being honest. So
Yeah.
no, you're just trying to manipulate her into fucking you or opening up her emotions to you again. And her throwing all of those slugs was to remind herself the place that they're in. They're not in a good place. They're not about to get back together. You could have enjoyed this yacht life, but you wanted to go and fuck on your mistress and
Mm.
be friends with the Scots. So now this is your first time on the yacht and it'll be your last time for a minute, won't it? So that's on him. I'm sorry that this makes you uncomfortable, but I feel like it's annoying to me when people want somebody to feel sorry for them when they're uncomfortable about a repercussion for something they've done.
From their actions. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Say that one more
Hmm.
time. You said people want them to feel sorry for you when what?
They want you to feel sorry for them when they have to deal with the repercussions of their actions. Like, you did this. Stop acting like your punishment is
Mm.
some unfair situation. No, you did this. This is just the
A word.
repercussion of your actions.
And I
Yeah.
have to call into question the growth part because I'm struggling a little bit with saying that you've grown, but you still talk to her like, Mel, hush. Like, why are you
Yes.
telling her
Yes.
to hush? You're
Yes.
antagonizing her. She's going to continue to talk. And then for you to tell her how she should feel. If I'm doing this, then you should. No, that's how you feel you should operate. Don't tell me how I should move. So I'm like, she like now that she's no longer with you, you really ain't got no hold on her. And she really gonna respond and say whatever she wants to. And you just hurt that by the way you talk to her. So you can't say that you've grown, but then at the same time, you haven't grown and learned to not communicate better with her when it comes to that. I don't like when he do this. And then I don't know if y'all noticed at the very end how when she pretty much told him, we don't need to have no conversations about the past. That doesn't matter. He got so dismissive of her. He started looking over into the sea. He was like, yup, yup, yeah. He barely would give her eye contact. And it's like, again, how are you mad? How are you mad?
She
That's
literally
not
repeated
growth.
the same thing he said to his mama about them dating other people. And if they date other people and they can bring them around each other eventually, he said the same thing to his mama at the beginning of the episode. When she
He
said it at
did.
the end, he was mad.
Yeah. Yeah. He did. He said the exact same thing. And then, did y'all notice how he apologized, but you could tell his intent was to sever the romantic relationship. But as soon as she rejected him, it turned into, I want to grow for my next marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, you thought you was gonna circle the
Child.
block. It wasn't about your next marriage.
Mm-mm.
It was
You're not
about
trying to
now.
get better for Sheree. Cut it out.
He was trying
Right.
to see if that would affect her. He trying to see if that
Yeah.
lady still care. That lady do not give a damn. She
And I
does
think it
not
felt
care.
good for her. I think that's what felt good. When she was on that boat and he was, looking all good on the beach and shit. I think she was teetering at the beginning. We getting each other pizza. Oh, he getting my snacks. Okay, this might be cute. But then he invited the Scots and then sat at the end of that table and told her that, he was inviting somebody on a trip that he was invited on. It this is
She was she was teetering with what?
I think she was teetering on not giving him such a hard time. Like all of those little
Oh, okay,
comments and
okay,
shit
okay.
like that. I don't think any of that would have happened in the same way. Like at first, it kind of felt like, all right, Martell, come on now. Remember when he was trying to be in her room and she was like, get out of here. But it was all
Yeah.
still jokey and light.
Mm-hmm.
But once he brought the Scots in, it was like, oh, you still the same nigga, ain't you? Okay. So now I
Mm-hmm.
know I can go back to all my little sniping remarks that I'm trying not to make. I can make them now because you still the
Yeah.
He
same
was
nigga.
creating
And
space.
he just really got too damn comfortable.
Oh,
Like, this ain't even your trip, bro. Like, why would you do that?
child.
Why would you? And you are, and and see, yeah, I would have really felt the way because if you're the person that I've confided to, whether we're together or not, if you're the person I confided into about how I feel about them and how they've done me or whatever, just because you moved on don't mean I moved on. Another thing I didn't like, and we didn't talk about this last week, but I just didn't like how, once again, him telling her how she should feel because he's at a certain place, saying, I feel like we should be able to have a cordial conversation and do this. That's how you feel. Stop trying to
Mm-hmm.
put that on that lady if that's not where she at. You don't get to
Yeah.
make that decision. I mean, we're grown, we're adults, we're this and that. So I think we should be able to move on from what happened. And it's like, Martell, you're speaking from a space of y'all being a couple. Y'all are now, that probably would have made sense if y'all were a unified couple and y'all want to work on this friendship, whatever. But y'all not. So stop trying to speak for her. I don't get it.
He said the same thing when they was at that table about how we should be able to have a civilized conversation. And it was so funny because it's like the conversation is civilized.
It
You
was
just don't
civilized,
like that
yeah.
she's calling you to task for what you did. You don't want to be held responsible. And you do that hush shit. And that reminds me of Miss Marlene and the way she argued Mel down about how much she did in the household and all of that. And to me, I feel like everybody will just, because somebody old, oh, they just old and they set in their ways. And I just kind of feel like I don't accept that. I feel like that's bullshit.
Mm-mm.
I don't accept that. Bitch, this is not 1980 and you know it's not because you're not paying with cash now. You're paying with a debit card. You're using cell phones and you on the
Okay.
motherfucking internet. So stop acting like you don't know we in a new time and a new day and you can't adapt to the space that we're in now. Once new information has been presented and you still continue to have the same opinion about somebody regardless,
Mm-hmm.
to me it just shows that that's the feeling that you want to have and
Yeah.
you don't want to be corrected about it. You want to be wrong because that's how you feel. Well, if that's the case, then you're gonna have to accept when somebody is honest with you regardless to how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
Because you showed that it doesn't matter what the truth is. So then if it doesn't matter what the truth is, then I'm not going to bend myself in a pretzel not to upset you by not saying the truth. And to me, the whole time that we've been on this trip, Martell, the Scotts, people have been saying little things that I feel like are lies or not exactly true. And Mel has been trying not to constantly correct people every time they do that. And I think it's exhausting. But if you're in therapy, they tell you every time somebody try to come at you, you correct that shit immediately. Like if you're in therapy, they'll tell you, especially if you're somebody that, push your shit down all the time. When something happened, you ain't got to get all upset, but address it immediately. What do you mean by that? What does that mean when you say that? Like, and to me, when they were sitting down with her and the mom and all of that therapy shit. So I was just like, yeah, nah, Mel's in therapy. She's trying to get better about it, but people will tap dance on your nerves.
They will.
Yeah.
They will. Well, yeah, that's all I got for Love and Marriage Huntsville. Y'all ready to move on to Potomac?
Sure.
All right, y'all do us a favor and like the video because I know y'all ready to talk about Potomac. All right.
Countdown, bitch.
Right. I was like, hold on. What? I tried to throw something together and I was hoping that it wasn't covering the whole screen. So we got this little bitty quarter piece of the ladies of Real Housewives of Potomac.
Child, that's cute enough. We know what they look like.
Right. Yeah, y'all know. How y'all feeling about this show right now? The past 3 episodes.
I mean, money. Yeah. But this shit's stressful.
I think this could have been the most irritating episode to me. But I mean, I'm enjoying the show for the most part. I did have a moment where I thought to myself, this environment is extremely toxic.
Yeah.
And they must be getting paid a good amount of money to continue to show up to work with people that you truly don't like. Because I think they're starting to form into kind of like Real Housewives of Atlanta where they're not really friends at all. They just co-workers. So it makes me kind of concerned about the coming seasons when ain't none of y'all really friends like that. So how is that going to work? Because, I mean, you learning who you can and cannot trust with certain things because they ain't going to do that but bring it back to the group and start talking shit. Yeah. So,
I feel like they need to change the format of these shows. I think that as soon as the friendships are no longer real, then a whole new cast needs to be brought in. I think at all times, every show in Atlanta and Potomac and every other city should be looking for different friend groups that they can bring on if one set of housewives decides they want to do this shit. We want to not really be friends. Yeah, and X people out and all of that. Okay, so if this friend group isn't working, we're going to take everybody out and we're going to put in a whole new friend group because we don't want any friend groups that aren't real. You know what I'm saying? I think they need to change the parameters for the show so that they can have more authentic interactions. Yeah. Because their interactions aren't authentic. They wouldn't be talking to each other if it wasn't for this show.
Y'all know where it started for me. It started with Monique whenever she decided to strategically, but for me, I didn't realize that the hierarchy of the women on the show was given very much like how we say they went from friends to coworkers. I didn't notice it as much until that season. Whenever Monique thought that it was easier to beef with Candace than to actually cut the giant off by the head, to cut the snake off by the head, which was Giselle Robin. But we got so much to talk about this episode. So we first see this dinner. Did y'all notice Giselle and them damn wedge heels?
I didn't see the wedge heels, but I saw that terrible dress she had on when they were driving the Lambos.
Oh, she looked horrible. It reminded me of whenever Cynthia showed up to that dinner with Portia and she looked like a damn artist with that hat on and a red lipstick and the glasses.
Was that when she had the necktie on?
Yes, when she had the necktie on. Looking like damn Picasso. That's what Giselle was giving in the Lambo. But
Terrible.
yeah, the editors, they are, really on one. They on a vengeance this season because they showed her ugly ass shoes. Anyway, at the all white party, everybody wore white except for Mia. Mia wore white and a little bit of color because she wanted everybody to know that she was the main character. And
Right.
we see Jacqueline acting as the representative for Mia.
She's the Gretchen. I can't stand a Gretchen.
Like me, we shot this kill Caesar. Hockey, that's what it was given when they was beefing on Twitter. But they talk about their favorite moments with Karen. Karen is being turned on by the fire. Um, any thoughts on the way that this dinner was going before we get into Ashley and Candace in the thread? But any thoughts on Karen in the
I
being
just
turned
thought
on?
Karen was funny being turned on. For me, I just thought about a fiery hot box, and it's like you got turned on because of that. You need to call Ray.
Fiery
I don't
hot
know.
box.
Karen was just putting on for the cameras.
She
That's what
was.
she was just really happy that somebody did something for her birthday. Exciting. So that's probably what it was.
I think she understands who she is on this show, and she knows she's a little kooky, and so I think she plays into that at times.
Yeah. The flashbacks were cute though when they talk about their favorite moments.
Oh
I
I
yes,
bet
that
if
like
is.
Wendy was
that.
there,
The
Wendy
wig was
probably
my
would have brought up the
favorite
slither.
part. Oh yeah, the slither was good too.
Oh
The slither
yeah.
was good.
There were a lot of good Karen moments. Even when she taught Robin how to, whatever the
Yeah,
fuck that was.
you gotta control
Do
the
y'all
tongue.
think hilarious? Do y'all think they should bring another woman on that Karen actually likes? Maybe one of her
Yeah.
friends that's
Well,
closer in age because she probably get
Mhm.
tired of like kind of being a mama or whatever to these young ladies.
She gonna always be in that position. They tried to do that with Mia. I think anybody Karen's age, if they not up to par with her looks wise, they're not gonna want to come on this show because then they're gonna fall into
Sharice.
that subordinate role. The only person I
That's why I
think,
think it could be a friend of hers, possibly that could come on. That's probably up to par like her. Somebody else that she'll have to have her back.
I feel like Candace needs to be that person.
You know what?
Really?
I think Candace needs to bring on an actual real friend to the show.
Candace, yes.
Yeah,
Candace
Candace.
needs to bring on a real friend to the show. The reason, at first, I said yeah, but then I started thinking when it comes to having people's back, Karen ain't got nobody back, backless. Okay, like a
She gonna be
hospital.
on her own side. If it's in her best interest to not be on your side, she not gonna be on your side. She don't want to go.
But it's
Listen,
always in her
I
best interest.
slick want
Like,
Candace to do that a little bit sometimes.
oh yeah, Candace is loyal to a fault sometimes. It's like, girl, you ain't lying. But let's get into Ashley because I literally have so much to say about Karen. Like, if I don't stop now, I'm about to review the whole fucking. I don't know. It's just giving me flashbacks because Karen is reminding me of the same way I felt about her when it came to Candace and Monique.
mm,
And she's displaying the same thing, and it's
Yep.
really upsetting me because Karen is not using her influence for good. You and Giselle are the two top of the pyramids for the show. Giselle uses her influence for evil.
hmm
Somebody has to combat the shit, and if you're
yes.
not there to combat it, and while being the grand dame, it's like, girl, like Karen, what are you doing? But whatever. Ashley and Candace, okay. Ashley and Candace are on a new page, but Ashley says that they still need to discuss some things because she feels like Chris has threatened them on Twitter. Candace says she ain't got time for dusty vagina, Giselle, and forehead ass Ashley. I loved how she kind of was just like, what's next? Does anybody else have anything to say
Well,
about
what
my
else?
husband?
What else?
Yes.
What else? You got something?
She,
You got something? You got something to say? I loved
who's
it.
next?
Me
Go,
too.
go, go. That's what
I
she was
loved
getting.
it. I said as soon as she said that, everybody else lost. That's why they were
Yeah.
quiet.
And Sharice looking tired.
Right. I have
No, I forgot
nothing.
to say.
Did
Absolutely
y'all think that
nothing.
what Chris tweeted was,
No, he
Threat.
just
a
said y'all
threat?
gonna be sorry when the truth come out, meaning y'all gonna look fucking stupid.
Stupid. Absolutely.
I
That
don't think
man
it was
wasn't
a
threat.
physical threat. I
But
mean threat.
Giselle thinks everything is a threat to her.
She
She
does.
That's
always
Karen.
does that. Like,
Karen-esque.
yeah.
Karen.
She goes straight into that victim mode, like, oh my God, they threatened me. And then Ashley throwing herself in and feeling like the threat was for her. Like, I mean, Candace one line, he was talking about both of y'all.
Well, hit dogs will
And he
holler.
can say what the hell he want to say. If y'all get to say what y'all want to say and feel a way about it, then Chris gets to do the exact same thing because he feels uncomfortable. So now he wants to voice that. It is
Lisa
what it
made a
is.
good point. They keep using trigger words. I'm like they do, just like they kept calling Wendy
Mhm.
aggressive last season.
Yep.
Brett.
Yep.
Yeah, I could see where they was coming from, where they assumed it was a threat, but I feel like their fear let them believe it was a threat because y'all had guilt.
Yeah.
Because my thing is
That's a good
like,
point.
based on what he tweeted, I probably would have been like, okay, you basically saying fuck around and find out, right? But because you know that you, that's what he said. He said fuck around and find out. But because you know that you said something about this man that could affect his livelihood, his reputation,
Hmm.
you shaking in your boots now because y'all thought that y'all was just playing the storylines like y'all usually do season to season. But now that somebody's saying something to you, you scared.
Mhm.
I think that, that tweet, I don't think he's wrong in it. It is what it is. Y'all are insinuating that this man sexually harasses people, whether that be physically or making people feel uncomfortable. And you think that nobody's going to say anything about that. So now that this is turning into something real and it's not
Hmm.
a game, you shaking in your fucking boots.
Hmm.
Yep.
He should sue y'all asses
Clown.
for libel, especially Mia's. If he could, she was
Especially me.
looking at me. He would. That's why when she made that comment at the table about how they lied on what she was saying that
Oh yes, where she said that she told Candace, "I think it's funny that you're upset that someone lied on your husband, but you don't see it when Wendy lied on G,
Yeah.
saying we
You're
slept with men and
supporting
women."
yeah,
somebody
and
that
it's
lied
like,
on
well,
mine.
bitch, you lied on my husband, so you can't even talk to me about that.
Mm,
Like, to me, I feel like they
Period.
allowed this trip to make Mia a main cast member. Mia may have
they
been on
did.
the cast, but she was not a main cast member. And I
Yep.
feel like with this trip, they allowed for her to do this main character shit where she got to walk around his house with her face stuck up in the air, acting like she had all the power in the world because she was able to keep Wendy out of the house. And we all know only because Wendy didn't want to come back to the house. Like, I feel like if Wendy had dug her feet in the sand, nobody was gonna make Wendy leave that house.
Mm-mm,
So I
And
no.
wish Wendy would have stayed,
me
but I
too.
feel like Wendy is trying to be careful not to be made out to be the villain because anytime that she responds, they make her out like she's the one that started the shit.
I'm glad you
Facts.
said that because you just said a key thing. They make her out. Anytime she responds, they make her out. So it's giving a damned if you do, damned if you don't
It is.
Yep.
situation. So
Yep.
in that case, I think she should have like stayed. They're gonna paint you to be whatever they want to paint you to be. You could choose what you want and don't want to respond to. But it ain't no way I would have left that house. I just would
I
not
think
have
she didn't
left.
want to be uncomfortable.
But she
It's
had
like,
Candace on the way that was going to be there to support her. She had Ashley
oh, that
there, and
is
maybe she
true.
didn't feel that, but she had people that were there. Even Karen with her flip flopping ass was there supporting
She,
her. So I wish
I
she
ain't
would have
counting
I mean, I
Karen.
stayed.
think they also had
It
people
made
on
it easier for them
production.
to ice her out.
Yeah, I think so too. I think she probably left just because it was like, let me be comfortable in my hotel room where I ain't got to worry about nobody trying to shank me in the middle of the night.
Pins and
And I
needles.
can have a
Yeah.
bathroom. That house probably was hot. She just probably wanted to, get away from that little bitty house and go find her a nice hotel room somewhere. I think it was funny they was able to find her a hotel room, but they couldn't find Sharice one when she was trying to get
Right.
out.
She
Uh-huh.
said to Sharice, "You're not gonna find anywhere to stay." Okay.
I was like, how are you not
All
gonna be able to
right.
find nowhere to stay in Miami?
In
That's what I was
Miami,
thinking too. It's
uh,
endless options.
another
Like,
layer of Mia's lying.
especially if you got money like Sharice supposed to have money. Like, girl, I could pay for the presidential anywhere. The fuck is you talking
Right.
about?
And
So
she
yeah,
gonna tell me some she wouldn't have stayed if she was Wendy. Girl, shut up. You stayed for less. You didn't even have a bathroom, but you stayed. Shut the hell
right,
up. Bye. I was Wendy.
With
I would
your
have
tired
left.
ass.
Shut up.
girl.
Um. Okay, so now y'all, we get to the part to where Mia separates the group. And I thought it was real strategic the way that she separated the group. I was like, look at you trying to get in where you fit in, and this is what drove me when it came to influence that I'm talking about. So Mia, Giselle, Jacqueline, and Karen, they end up going to go drive Lambos. While Candace, Ashley, Sharice, Robin, plus Wendy end up going on a damn paddle boat. So I was was feeling away because on the way to them going to go drive the cars, Carrie gives this very like indirect, sneak ass apology. Because I had to rewind it twice. And she says to Mia, I want to apologize to you for the selfish birthday request. And I rewound it because I was like, what was the birthday request? And what are you apologizing for? And then it clicked that you were apologizing for inviting Wendy to the damn beach that Mia does not own. Girl, I literally, that, I really wanted to lose my mind because we see that Mia's been on one this entire damn trip, Karen.
Mm-hmm.
You see that Giselle and Robin operate in colorism. You do. You see it. You know, which is why a lot of times she tries to ignore what they do or downplay what they do while not standing for anything. You ain't standing 10 toes, you stand about three max. So I hated that she apologized in this moment because to me, it's like you need to use your influence for good. And if you're going to be the grind down, what is it for?
Exactly. You being a punk just so you don't argue with Mia. Because honestly, I feel like Karen does the tap out. Yeah, she was being a punk. You don't really want to have to fight with them because you low key tired. You've been fighting with these batches for seasons now. And you damn sure don't want to have to fight against the one that's really supposed to be your friend. But to me, Karen had it right last episode when she told Mia, you just want me to bow down to what you want me to do. And I'm not doing that shit. I'm done. When Karen
Only to
had
turn
that
around
attitude
and bow
last
down.
episode, huh?
I said only to turn around and bow down with a
Exactly.
damn apology.
So upsetting. I was mad she apologized to Mia for that. I was like, why are you apologizing? And then I realized it's because she doesn't feel like having them mad at her on her birthday. She wanted to have a good time. And if that meant icing Wendy out and allowing them to ice Wendy out, then she was going to do that. But I also feel like maybe her and Ashley had a conversation because Ashley, to me, it seemed like Ashley was hell
Jamie,
bent.
why you make that face?
What?
Because
I'm
I
gonna tell
made
you.
a
I'm gonna
sound
tell
and
you.
you
I'm gonna
made
tell
a
you.
face.
I'm gonna
What
tell you. I'm
part?
gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you.
What part?
I can't remember what part you just said, but two things came to my mind. But I'm gonna let you go ahead and finish.
No, I was just saying I wonder if Ashley had a conversation with Karen about it because I feel like Ashley was the one that was like, well, these hoes can't do the same thing they do to y'all to me, so I'm going to invite her. Like, that's what it felt like to me. Ashley was like, I'm going to take the hit because I can
Got
handle
it.
it. Y'all,
Yep.
y'all may not be able to handle it, but I can. So I'm going to invite Wendy. And I also feel like it was because Ashley's good at TV. And I said this, I was like, Ashley finally has, like, to me, she cemented that she's one of the best housewives ever. I don't like Ashley.
I think she is. That's
She's
why
one of the best.
I do.
She
I love
is.
her, but I love to hate her. Like
Yes.
now that she's
Right.
not with Michael,
Facts.
I love her even more. She know what she is doing.
Yes.
I really like
She's
her.
messy.
And
She's good at
yes.
her job. And then she gives you gratifying moments. And in reality TV, gratifying moments are far and few in between. We don't get gratifying moments with Mia. We don't get gratifying moments with Giselle and Robin. But we get gratifying moments when Candace reads somebody the fuck down. When Wendy, screams about your relationship not being real and how you let, Jamal Bryant disrespect you. And we got a whole bunch of gratification when Ashley brought up Robin not having no money and what was going on with wine.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Do you think that this is deductive to a happy marriage?
Bruh, I was so here for Ashley that season. I was like, is anybody gonna say anything about this shit? So I was here for Ashley that season. But as time is going on, she's proven to be extremely problematic. Because the way she goes at Candace, to me, that's 100% jealousy. Like, I don't care what anybody say. You are jealous of Candace. You always have been. And that's why you go at her the way you do. But this episode actually gave me life. I was here for it. And then I actually thought about it. I was like, Ashley has a good story in her own personal life. She's messy. She gets involved. And sometimes she'll give you a gratifying moment every now and again. She's a great housewife. I can't stand her. Excellent housewife.
Can't stand that ass. I agree with the gratifying moments. And it's crazy because as much as I would love to disagree with that, I don't think I can, because at the end of the day, we still ain't saying I want Ashley fired. Ashley, you can go. We
Never.
still not saying that. Like, we never say that
Nobody
about
said
Ashley.
that.
We just say we can't stand Ashley.
Yeah.
But I wish that it would have been Ashley to bring up the one and the blonde headed lady rumors,
Ooh.
because it would give like full circle moment kind of when she came
Mhm.
at them about their stuff years ago. So I don't know. That's who
But
Karen was
Karen needs to
talking
do
to. So
something.
she might bring it up, since Karen
Karen
was
needs to
telling
do
Ashley
something.
about it.
I want Karen to bring it up because Karen needs to do it because you bitched up in this moment. So I need you to make up for it later on.
It looked like she is from the mid-season trailer. I
Mhm.
think I think Ashley may mention it to Robin, but I think Karen's gonna bring it up in front of
Mhm.
everybody when she calls her fake. But
Yeah.
what I was gonna say
Can't wait.
earlier, Body, when we were talking about the apology to Mia that
Mhm.
Karen gave, my thing was, one, who the fuck is Mia at the end of the day? Like, you're the grand dame. Who is Mia for you to apologize to her for?
Yep.
Like, I don't understand, if y'all truthfully feel like she's wrong in her actions, why are y'all apologizing? That's one. That's
Mhm.
not adding up. And then the other thing you mentioned about Karen not wanting to like mess up her birthday or something like that, and that's why she kind of retracted the invite or whatever with Wendy. I disagree. Karen toes the line, and I feel like, does Karen truly like Wendy for real, for real? Because we have to remember, Karen called Giselle and told Giselle last year that Wendy was not of Potomac. So I
Yeah.
feel like Karen don't give a damn what the hell happens with Wendy for real, which also makes me feel like, Karen, you be fake sometimes. You
Fake as
just
hell.
gotta be fake.
I'm gonna say this. I feel like her and Wendy have grown since that moment. But I also feel like Karen doesn't like to be a bully. So in most of the moments when they bully somebody, if y'all notice, Karen don't be on the side of the bullying shit,
She don't.
but she'll eventually get in line just because she don't want to do all of this with y'all, and they always
Yep.
turn it on her. Y'all saw
Mm.
how when the fight happened between Wendy and Mia, they turn right to Karen. Karen, why didn't you do anything? Like
Or even
what?
when the season opened and they were talking about if Karen thought Mia lied about her diagnosis.
Yeah.
Karen wasn't trying to bully, but because she wasn't with the antics, they were like, "Oh, but you said this.
And she was
You
like,
were
I
with
did
us too."
not
Mhm.
say that. Remember that? Yeah. So I feel like I don't think that she doesn't, I don't think she dislikes Wendy. I just think that I don't care enough to buck for you against my actual friend. And I guess on some level, her and Mia are actually friends. I
Nah, they
mean,
ain't really friends.
I
I
don't
don't
think
think they're really
No,
so.
they
friends.
not.
I
Mm-mm.
don't. But I do feel like Karen wants to keep her alliance with Mia. She's not ready to blow it up yet. And Mia is trying to get in good with the Green Eye Bandits. So, yeah.
Or maybe she just don't want to have no beef with nobody for real this season.
Karen?
Yeah.
Which is why
Hmm.
I do feel like she is treading lightly when
It
it
feels
comes to
avoided.
Giselle and everybody. So
Hmm.
it could be.
But y'all know what? I just thought about this though. She probably treading so lightly. And the way that this could be different than the Monique and Candace situation is because everybody know they both played a part in what happened. Candace and Monique. We know that. The way that this could be different is that this season, Sharice is there. So not Candace, Karen probably don't really want that smoke with nobody because she has to reserve herself for the moment that she knows is coming. We know that Sharice came on the show to talk about the guys who she is allegedly dating. So maybe Karen is just like, not this battle because I got to stay on ready for if she bring it up.
Exactly. And Mia
Mm,
has already shown her alliance to Karen against Sharice. Remember when she got in the car and she talked about how Sharice was complaining about the hotel and I mean the house, and then she actually said that shit in front. She didn't lie. She said, "Yeah, I said you were doing this, and this, whatever." So for me, I
Mm.
feel like it's more so alliances. Karen knows that if I'm gonna go at Sharice in a couple of weeks, I need to have the people who are on my side, which is
Yep.
probably why she was so hurt by the Candace situation, and also why she's trying to keep it cute and kind of show niceness to Wendy because she's gonna need all of them to be
that
on her
support.
side when the shit happens with Sharice, because Robin is gonna pick Sharice's side, and then by proxy, Giselle will.
Yeah. But not enough
Agreed.
niceness to become an op. to the Green Eye Band of Sorority Incorporated.
Not just yet. We're not ready yet. We gotta hold on to it. Listen, I can't wait to see what's gonna prompt Karen to talk about Robin shit. Because I feel like Robin's
Me too.
To prompt that.
Yeah.
Robin is doing it has something to do with Charisse. I promise you, Robin is the main headhunter when it comes to Charisse. Yes.
Mm-hmm. She's always been. I think Giselle has honestly not been the one that goes at Karen is hard, but because you know how they are, we can never really tell.
The pizza.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Now y'all know Charisse and Karen gonna get into it. So I wonder if Robin is going to interject herself into that drama, which is going to result in Karen laying her out at that table.
Right. And
it's crazy because Robin would be playing the role that Ashley always plays. Whenever Candace is in an argument with somebody else, Ashley always brings her forehead into the conversation and interjects and antagonizes. So I feel like Robin is going to be an antagonizer and she's going to end up getting laid the hell out.
I would like for somebody to give us some real facts on Robin because I think Robin's miserable at home. I think everything we see about Robin on the show is a reflection of how unhappy she is at home. Her hair is stiff. She is telling us about taking dumps. Like she's trash. And I think she's trying to be trash. I'm sorry for lack of a better term, but y'all know what I mean. She's uncouth. She seems slightly uncivilized. You know, like a lot of women have a certain decorum about themselves, and Robin is patting puss and telling you that she was taking a dump for the second time. Like she told us she had a bowel movement at least 3 times this episode, and I felt like that was completely unnecessary. She wants us to be disgusted by her. So it gives bitter, misery loves company. I'm upset on the inside, so I project it on the show. You know, like if I have a place that I can let my frustrations out and I can't do it in my real life, then I'm gonna come to work and let my frustrations out at work because I know I can do it here. I can't do it at home. So I think really that's what's going on with her. Cause you know, Juan don't like you, and you trying on wedding dresses this episode, you know, this season, like you about to get married, and we know you're not. That's embarrassing and pathetic. Girl, why are you trying on my wedding dress?
She's trying to delay. Speaking of Robin delaying, the damn Instagram live. Robin pulled out her speakers so she could be, you know, Robin Dixon MZ again, like TMZ, and show the video. Or she plays the part of the audio of Candace on Instagram Live. And it's so funny because I was on the live that night. I remember when she went live, she looked like she was drunk. I did not know she was on that cash trip. But yeah.
I don't think she was. I don't think she was.
Somebody said, side note, I just noticed Robin. Yeah, she's not on the picture because this picture is from my graphic where I do Love, Marriage, Huntsville, and Potomac, and I was like, somebody gotta go. I can't fit somebody, so let me just manifest this. Robin ain't there.
For true.
But yeah, Robin plays a video of Candace where Candace says all these hoes are fake, nobody's loyal, and these bitches just want to panhandle their businesses on the show. I felt like all of that was a word. It was a word. Everybody's on there to panhandle. Everybody's selling hats that you can buy from the beauty supply store. But I mean, people are gonna buy it. If that's what got you out of your taxes, I'm not mad. But this is what I noticed. This is my observation. Robin is upset that Candace is not playing a part in the icing out of Wendy. And the reason why I think that is because Robin was like, oh, I'm taking it personal because I defended Chris. So why is she talking about me? Candace never even said your name in the clip that you showed us. So the fact that you chose to take it personal to me showed me that you want a reason to be for Candace. Not only that, in the last episode when they was taking shots in the kitchen, Candace said chasers are for bitches. She didn't address anybody directly. Robin took that personally and said, Candace, I haven't done anything to you. So to me, I feel like the real beef that Robin has is that when Candace showed up that night and you gave her the recap and you wanted her to go against Wendy and Candace rejected all of that icing out or whatever motive y'all had, You felt ashamed. You felt embarrassed. So now that you felt ashamed and embarrassed that somebody called your ass out trying to ice out Wendy, you want to start beef with Candace. And I feel like that's what the video was about. Candace definitely shouldn't have backpedaled though, because she did say that about Karen. She did. And Robin has never been loyal. So yeah,
I
thoughts
think
on
she
the
should have stood
whole
in it. I should think she should
yeah.
have reminded Karen, yeah, Karen, we cool and shit, but I heard that from Sharice. And that's what I was telling Ashley. That I heard from Sharice that you were doing this, this, and that. And we ain't been that cool since you called, the HR people on me. So,
Oh God.
we good, but come on now.
Yeah, Karen should have kind of expected that a little bit and not overreacted. But some part of me thought that Karen overreacted because she knew where Candace got that from. I think that's why she really got
You're
upset because when
right.
she started going off,
She was looking at
she
Sharice.
was looking at Candace, but she turned all her energy went over there towards Sharice and
Mm-hmm.
Giselle. That's who she really
Right.
was talking to.
It was like a
Robin,
warning.
yes, Robin, you're bogus because I think you hit the nail on the head. Niecy, it had nothing to do with Chris. It had everything to do with Wendy. Candace did say that after Ashley mentioned that she heard so much shit about Karen. So then Candace elaborated on what it is that she heard about it. It was just for me, the messed up part was Ashley making it seem as though, well, Candace said this and this and this about you. But Ashley, you also know that other people have said the same thing. Why are you making it seem as though this is a direct quote from Candace and Candace is the one? Like you made it seem like Candace was starting the rumors. And that's
Yeah, she
not
was
what it
spreading it
was.
though. You don't think that counts?
I don't. Not when y'all having a conversation and she telling you like this is what I heard. Like I don't think that's really spreading what Ashley already knows. You see what I'm saying? Ashley
That's
already
not the
knows
first
that
time
information.
we all already know that. Sharice
It's
brought that
not
up
the
years
She brought
ago.
years ago.
Yeah, it's not the first time, but in the manner that Candace said it when she was talking to Ashley, it was like they was good girlfriends, like this is the tea.
Yeah.
I think Candace thought she had a friend. So in that moment, I don't think it was
Yeah.
just like, girl, they say this. It was kind of like, well, girl, the people are saying.
I didn't get it. Like I didn't
I
catch it
got
like
both
that.
of that.
But I mean,
It's
she
both.
always thinks she got a friend, and that's why she be caught up in these
Hmm.
situations.
For real. But I mean, I don't think she thought that Ashley wasn't gonna say anything because it was said on camera. So you knew eventually Karen was gonna hear that shit. So I really
Yeah.
think in that moment she forgot. Like at the table, I think she forgot. I think the way Ashley was saying it in the moment, she didn't remember that they had talked about that because she was too steadfast. She lying. Why would I say that? Candace,
Yeah,
I
she
don't think,
forgot.
yeah, I think she forgot. I think she forgot about it because there was no reason not to admit to it because she had already, said whatever she was gonna say and stood
And
in the
I
other
wish
shit.
she would have remembered just so she could have said, yeah, we did talk about that after Ashley mentioned X, Y, and Z, and I actually heard it from Sharice.
Yes,
Like, I wish she would have remembered,
that's
but
why I think
she
she
is going
didn't
to
remember it.
say
Right.
that she didn't remember until a producer told her.
Yeah,
Um,
Mm.
I think that's true. I think she didn't remember until somebody told her because she would have used all of that. She would have been like, well, actually, Ashley, you said you heard shit first, and I just told you what Sharice told me.
Ashley
Yeah.
gets on my nerves, bruh. Now I'm starting to see what the mischievous laugh gives. The laugh that Ashley gives when she does some bullshit and she want to really smile about it after she calls somebody out to do something. What she's truly
Yes, she
thinking
lives for it.
is this is good for TV. This is good for like that's what really goes through her head when she
Yes,
does
it's gonna
that
be a
shit. But I be
moment,
fuming.
babe. It's gonna be a
I be
moment.
fuming.
Yes, yes, that's what she be giving. Okay.
I be
I
fucking
hate
Um,
with
her, but
her.
I love it.
did y'all think it was weird that Robin and Wendy made up in the club? I
No,
didn't, see, only because Giselle wasn't there
exactly,
and the cameras
That
weren't there. Drunk
and
exactly.
because
man
they were
sober cup.
drunk, really.
Exactly. Because Robin's a
Well,
lesbian. And so all it took was for her girlfriend to go home early, no cameras to be around, and the liquor to be in the room. And all of a sudden, you're hugging Wendy and telling her that you like her back and smiling and laughing. But then when you go and talk to Giselle next week,
Fake.
you're going to act like you wasn't really here for it. Like, yeah, she was telling me she loved me. And I'm like, okay, girl. Yeah, no, bitch. You was all in the hug. Okay. You was
yeah,
all in the hug, like you was enjoying the
cheesing,
affection of it all, bitch.
cheesing.
Okay. I really feel
I'm
like if
still
it wasn't for
disappointed. I know
Giselle,
they was drunk.
Robin would be better in this group if there was no
She
Giselle.
would.
Because she would go back and forth a little bit more. And I feel like that's okay. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to go back and forth a little bit, especially on a reality show. This shit not real. But the way she has this blind loyalty to Giselle, I personally feel like Giselle has mastered Regina George. And she has recognized that there is a lesbian lover in in Robin, and she can tap on that to make Robin do what she wants her to do. I'm sorry, like for me, it reminds me of when the mean girl finds out that one of her friends is in love with her and uses it against her to get what she wants out of her until she does something she doesn't like, and then she outs her to everybody.
Oh, you talking about Regina George and Janice?
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of. Yeah, except for the
I can
fact that
see
nothing
that.
really happened with them. But I think something happened between Giselle and Robin at some point. Y'all didn't spend way too many times sleeping in the same room.
I can see that. Absolutely. Well, y'all got any other comments on Real Housewives of Potomac? The rest of the season looks like it's gonna be pretty fire, so I'm excited to.
Oh,
I
Candace.
just want Jax to go.
Oh,
Jax
yeah.
can leave.
Out of here.
Oh, Jack.
The representative,
Girl,
she can
I
go.
said who?
I loved how
Who's that?
Candace told her, like, you're not gonna defend your friend. When Ashley called Mia a bully,
Yeah.
I was here
You're not
for
gonna
it.
jump in?
You're not gonna
You
say
can
you've
tell
been saying
she don't
stuff.
know how to read because every time she ready to say something, it's bitch.
Yeah.
Bitch.
Oh,
She
I'm
don't know how
speaking
to
bitch.
read.
Okay, no,
Right.
she don't know how to read. Of course not. Giselle don't know how to read either. That's why she let everybody do her dirty work for her. But what I was about to say,
You said something about Candace.
Candace, you thought Robin was your real friend?
Disgusting.
You thought she was feeling you?
Girl,
Mhm.
when she said that to her in the car, after they left the club and they got into the argument in the car, I know that shit was real because you didn't have a moment where you and your friend got into it and y'all let it die and y'all have a good time and then you be sitting there feeling good looking at it like, bitch, we had a good time. Why you was playing with me like that? Because you be looking at it like, bitch, you my friend. Why you did that to me earlier? My feelings hurt now because we back having a good time and now I'm confused and shit and I don't understand what's going on right now. And so now I'm in the car and I don't have a napkin to fold, but bitch, you hurt my feelings. Why did you do it? And Robin is like, no, it's not like that. It's not like that. Is it
I
not,
saw
Robin?
just how much of a manipulator Robin was by trying to convince this girl that she was wrong for going on her platform and saying what she said. No, she said it publicly. So if y'all heard it, y'all just heard it. But it was
knew
how
she
you
wasn't
went
talking about
about doing it. You tried to get the whole group against her. And it honestly made me think, are you trying to now ice Candace out and possibly
Yes.
get Wendy and Candace up off the show?
It was you're not gonna help us ice Wendy out, so we gonna ice you out. Because you could have said that shit when they went on that little boat ride earlier that day. That was the moment to say something to Candace. But you didn't say anything. You waited until you had your back up. And then you said something. And then you did it in the most pathetic way with that fucking speaker in the middle of the table. I was like, girl, she's so whack. She's so whack. She's having difficulties doing this. And it was whack from the beginning.
All right.
Y'all, we know that Jack's sister has a YouTube page. She's spilling tea about Mia. We know, y'all. But I'm gonna tell y'all, I keep forgetting because I don't really care about Mia. She thinks she go here, but this was just an episode or two. she still don't really go here to me. So
she don't. She's still on the outside of the club. Still on the outside of the club. And you know what else I started to think about with Jax? The way that she sat up there and kept coming for Wendy, or at least not coming for Wendy, but kept saying it's going to be impossible for her to come back. And,
yes, I heard that.
I'm not going to let her back. Like, that just made me think, you feel like because Mia is on this show, it's going to allow, and them trying to boot Wendy out, it's going to allow a space for you to be on this show. And that's a negative.
I'm glad that you brought that up because that was a good point. When I was watching your live earlier, I heard you say that. I was like, that was a good point because she was doing way too fucking much.
Too much. You don't even know Candace.
Even the last episode, like trying to be a mediator in their conversation, that was weird too. And I'm also like, bitch, Mia has been an asshole to you on this trip. What is going on?
I can't wait. No, I cannot wait until it's your turn. I cannot wait until it's your turn, girl. I want to see this fallout. And I just want to know, because she ended up also talking about how she let the girl smash one of her dudes.
Yes.
Like, if he already cheating on you, why would you let him? Like, that's a treat for him to be able to say he smashed you
You
and
and
your
your
friend. What
homegirl.
a dummy.
Which I wouldn't
So
be surprised if G smashed Jacqueline before.
And
I
she
And it's
believe
like
never
y'all are
slept with your
and
acting.
see, that's
husband.
why I'm wondering, is Mia upset with her? Because we gonna see her crying. Are you upset because Jack Slick spilled tea? And you were over here denying that you never let that happen with G, and she probably spilled some tea, or are you
I think so.
mad?
You're
You
right.
think that's what it is?
I think that's
I'm
what you just said. I think is exactly what it is. When I watched the previews, it looked like what you noticed from Jacqueline is as soon as Mia, like 2 episodes ago, when Mia got up from that table after talking to Jacqueline like a fool, Jacqueline wanted to be well liked. So she ran around and told everybody, if we didn't meet when we were kids, we wouldn't be friends.
Mm-hmm.
So that told me that your ability to talk about her, to let the group know, like, I don't like this, y'all don't like it either. It's cool if y'all don't fuck with her, because I'm gonna say I don't fuck with her either. That told me that based on the preview we see next week, if you're in a room with Giselle and Giselle entices you to spill some tea on G and Mia, you
I'm gonna
probably
do it.
did it. You probably did it
yes.
because you want to be liked and you want to be on the end, and that's why you ended up turning around saying, I would never sleep with your husband." But you might have said something that led Giselle to think so. So I think that's
Mm-hmm.
what we're gonna get.
They're weird.
And she gonna spray
I
that
think they
information.
compete with each other. And when she was smashing
Mm-hmm.
Mia's man, she probably was keep competing in the bed to outdo Mia.
Yeah,
Like it's something about that. I just don't like their friendship.
I don't either.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it's built on real love. It seems like it's built on some type of
Convenience.
codependency and
Yeah.
yeah, competition.
Mm.
Ooh,
Well,
The
I'm
three
glad y'all
C's.
said. You know what that made me think about right quick, right fast. You know where it
what?
probably started. Mia probably always felt jealous of Jacqueline's relationship with her mama.
Oh, you're
I could see
right.
that. Just her
That's
probably her living situation as a whole, her family. She probably was
Mm-hmm.
envious of that. And now that she has more, of course she wants Jacqueline around because you spent so much time competing with her. Now you feel like you about got a leg up on her. So now you can have her around, like, look at what I got. Remember, I let you in with these girls because of me. Which also, let's go back. And I know we're trying to move on. Let's go back to when Mia hopped on Instagram and she put a comment under Robin's post and she was pretty much shading Karen. Now, mind you, you done brought Jacqueline to the group, but Karen had went out to eat with Jacqueline. And
Mm.
Mia was feeling away, so she was throwing shade. So it definitely makes me think you feel like I brought you into this group, X, Y, and
yep.
Z. You can't be friends with anybody else. And now you see her navigating her way through this friendship and you feeling a way about it.
Mm-hmm. Because that's how she was. I mean, that's the way she treated Karen. Like, oh, Karen was supposed to choose her side in an argument with Wendy.
Hmm.
You supposed to be on my
Yeah.
side. You're
Yeah.
my friend. Girl, grow up.
Yeah.
It's
And
fucking
that's
high
what
school.
I
Grow
also
up,
thought it
Mia.
was weird that Mia expected Candace to leave the house because Wendy left the house. And then tried to compare that to her and Jacqueline's loyalty to each other. And I'm like, why is it that you assume that Candace and Wendy should move as a unit? They've only known each other for 2 seasons, just as long as everybody else. So that was just weird behavior to me that you just paired the two of them together.
Because somebody else planted that in her head, probably Giselle.
Ooh, which reminds me,
Um,
Wendy probably left because she didn't want to sleep in the same bed with Candace too.
could have been. And Mia,
Oh
don't
yeah.
tell us nothing about loyalty when you was literally just airing your friend out because she was trying to use all your toiletries and stuff. If she
Oh,
wanted to keep it a secret, you weren't trying to, like
right.
Ice. And then you
Trying to call her
lied.
little poor.
Right.
Hmm.
She couldn't afford toiletries, y'all. I had to help her. She used to go down to the
Oh
CVS.
yeah, she dogged her ass out.
Christy Alley. Y'all remember Christy Alley?
Yeah,
She
I saw
passed
that. She
away.
passed. They say she got
Oh,
diagnosed with
wow.
cancer
I don't
earlier
know who that is.
last
What
year.
is she from?
I
Kirstie
gotta
Alley used to be in all my favorite the movies. Now who's talking and who's talking? You know what the babies and the dogs and shit be talking.
Hmm.
Look who's talking was
Yeah.
the movie back in the
Yeah,
day.
look who's talking. It Takes Two with the Olsen
Yes.
Hmm.
twins.
Oh, really?
Cheers. I remember I used to be up
Damn, I
late
didn't
night
know she
watching
was that
Cheers.
old.
Me
Yeah.
I didn't
neither.
know she was 71. I thought she was much younger than that.
Oh yeah, it makes sense, right? She because Cheers was in the 80s and yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
40s, 30s.
Wow. I have not seen this lady in so long. In my mind, she
Yeah, that
still
makes
looks
sense. Yeah,
wow.
she was in her 30s on Cheers. So that was in the
Mm.
80s, right? So like 40 years ago. So yeah, that makes sense. Damn.
Wow.
She looked good in the 90s. So that means she was like in her
She did.
she was in
Right,
her
that's why
like
I thought she
50s
was
in the
young.
90s. Yeah, she was in her 50s in the 90s playing in the
Yeah,
movies
she's
like she was younger. Okay, that makes sense. Because in Look Who's
yeah.
Talking, she was giving like late 30s, early 40s vibes. But really, she was like 50. Damn. Okay.
Hmm. Well, rest in
Mm.
peace to Kirstie Alley.
Yeah.
All right. So, y'all ready to move on to our last piece of gossip?
Yes.
Mhm.
Let's go. Look at us talking about sports twice in a row today. So, one of the things that I wanted us to talk about is I found this article from the Denver Post where they talked about Deion Sanders' offer sheets from Colorado University. So, Black Twitter is kind of, this is, I guess, one of the things I want to talk about this week. Black Facebook, too, shit. They want to talk about the HBCU versus PWI situation. They want to know if you think that Deion Sanders was a sellout. I've been seeing the conversation go, I would say 50-50. I feel like a lot of people, whenever it first dropped that he was going to CU, felt like he was a sellout. And as the conversation started to end, which I feel like probably ended around 2 days ago, people are kind of just like, you would do the same thing. So before I ask y'all for y'all's opinion, I want to run by this offer sheet that he got from CU. So it says CU presented the former Jackson State football coach with an offer sheet that proposes a 5-year contract worth 29.5 million before bonuses and incentives. Before. Um, so yeah, the compensation would increase to 5.7 billion in 2024, almost 6 million in 2025, 6 million in 26, and 6 million in 27. So it's a 5-year contract for almost $30 million. So in y'all's opinion, would you call this a situation of like he's a sellout since all those people were going to Jackson State and everybody was having HBCU pride, or would you do the same thing for a check?
I feel two ways.
Well, go ahead, Bobby.
I feel two ways. I feel like Deion Sanders has always been a sellout. And I also feel as if I probably would have took that pay increase as well. Um, and I wouldn't call myself a sellout, but I feel like I probably wouldn't go to a HBCU to blow it up like, oh, look what I'm doing for black people. And I think that's what he did. I think he took the route of look at me. I'm helping these kids. That's what we've been seeing on social media since he's been since he's been coaching for them. Is let me help them with their literacy and how to, deal with their money. It was all coming from this standpoint of doing it to help. And so now that a bigger check has came into play and you can go to a PWI, all of that goes out the window. That's not surprising to me. Deion Sanders has always been this nigga, but I feel like he absolutely used HBCUs and black people to get himself in the coaching arena. And now that he has kind of blown up in that arena, he's going to take that to somewhere where he can make a bigger check. And that was always the plan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's me.
Let me see. I'm trying to think how I
Jamie,
feel
did you
about.
did you go to HBCU?
I went to Alabama State. Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
so I thought.
Rivals against Jackson State. We had an issue with them earlier this year. I think it was our homecoming or something. And it was some issues with the coaches that went viral, and people felt like our coach was being disrespectful to Deion Sanders when I really felt like
I remember
it
He
that.
had
was
been
more
talking
so.
shit. Yeah, he had been talking shit
Yeah,
the whole time.
He didn't
Yeah.
want to shake his
correct,
hand.
correct. And some part of me, because it's Jackson State, some part of me is kind of like, that's what you get. Y'all was doing all that big talk, girl, and then now he done sat up there and he's scooting to the left, going somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? So some part of me is like, that's what you get. But at the same time, I do think that it's a bit messed up for the individuals that decided to not go to PWIs and come to this HBCU off of the strength that they were going to be coached by Deion Sanders. Only got 1 year or two, or however many years he was there. And then now, some of them only got 1 year if they only came like last year, right? And now you're taking that and you're going somewhere else. I do understand him wanting to put a spotlight on HBCUs. I feel like he did his job when he was there. Like they hired him for that. They used his likeness, whatever, to get attention on HBCUs, which he definitely did that. My issue is now that you're leaving, is you're likely going to take that attention with you. So I don't know what connections or security they have to kind of get what these other white schools get, where it's like, oh, it's college football day and y'all just watch college football all day. Are y'all gonna see the HBCUs as well? I can't fault him for wanting to leave because ain't nobody finna stay at a job and do the same thing and get paid less. Like BIT, if
Mm-hmm.
I can go to another job and do the same
True.
exact thing and get paid way more money, that's what I'm going to do.
True.
The sad part is that, but I also understand this. He's also taking some assistant coaches with him, other coaches that want to be able to play on a bigger team, and get into that arena. He's trying to open up the door. So he's still trying to be committed to the black folks in a sense by bringing those coaches with them and giving them an opportunity in another space. But it still damages Jackson State University because you're taking their coaches too. What else do they have? Like, are you going to stick around and recommend somebody else to step up and be in
Exactly.
your place? But I'm also hearing that it's more than just that. Like, it was some other financial issues going on within the school. I'm hearing that Deion Sanders actually put up his own money to make
Oh.
sure the football team, the university had some of the things that they needed. And that's another problem with HBCU. See, one thing about white folks, they gonna embezzle coin too at these PWIs, but they gonna make sure they sports
Yes,
teams,
ma'am.
that's not where you're gonna be able to find it at. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? You're not gonna be able to find. So they do a better job at hiding. A lot of these HBCUs don't. I mean, we had that scandal a few years ago over there with Howard and they financial stuff. Y'all got to get it together. But at the end of the day, as much as I mean, I can't even say as much as I want to blame him because I don't blame him at all. In all honesty, it's just a little bit of this what you get to Jackson State. Y'all was doing that big talk, and now y'all ain't got him no more. Well, good luck.
I don't blame him either. I mean, anybody would leave. But one of the things that I always one of the things I always hear about, like just black people operating in predominantly white spaces, is that you should leave the space better than it was when you got there, and that you should help people up and create those opportunities. So I feel like as long as he's left Jackson State in a better position than it was when he came, and that he's creating opportunities for other people in the same arena as him that look like him, then I think that he's making the right decision.
Yeah, because I don't think nobody would stay. Like nobody, even if it's a high school team. Like if you're working with a public school and you making, let's say, 60,000 just doing that job, if you can go to a private institution and work with their football team, still doing what you love and making 100,000, they finna get up off the table. I
Hmm.
know a lot of people are upset because they feel like Dion still got money. Like he been had millions of dollars. So what's another 5 mil? Baby, that don't mean nothing.
Another
Just
five
like
million.
y'all
What
was
you mean?
complaining
Right.
about rich people buying lottery tickets. Rich people, yeah, they want more money too. They still got a
Oh.
family to take care of and they got their own dreams
And
and
more
stuff.
money, more problems, my nigga. What are
So
you
they gonna move
talking
on.
about? Yeah. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not mad, but I also feel like I'm not surprised that he would, I feel like kind of use like I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm not mad, but I feel like he used the HBCUs because I think that it made a splash for him. It's been extremely, it's got a lot of press. So
Yeah.
I think it was definitely strategic. I'm not upset about it or anything because I mean I couldn't pay $30,000 for Clark Atlanta University and had to leave and go where LSU, okay, to a PWI. So I'm not upset about it, but it's also not surprising. I don't know what really can be done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, all these companies have been using HBCUs as a money grab as well. Um,
True.
I agree.
After George Floyd, that's whenever I honestly, in my entire life, I had never heard a white person even say HBCU or know what it stood for until after the George Floyd situation, when people were sending Peloton bikes to the HBCUs, fixing dorms, doing all this. Like, a lot of people have used HBCUs in the coming years as a way to stand out, and he just followed the trend, I guess.
Mm.
But all right, let's move on from that to let's talk about the Chrisleys. So I don't think that we all have had the chance to talk about
Mm.
their sentencing and the happenings that have come after. But Julian Todd Chrisley both have been sentenced. Todd to 12 years, while Julie was sentenced to 7, which a lot of people thought was OD for tax evasion and bank fraud.
I'm sorry.
So
How
I'm
much did
thinking
he get? You said she
he
got
got 12
7?
years.
He
Yeah,
got
he got
12
12.
years
He got
in
12.
prison?
Yep, 12 years, and she
Wow.
got 7. And
Mm.
initially, I was like, wow, that's crazy. There are like, what a horrible joke, but there's black celebrities who have done tax evasion and not served 12 years. But now that I'm reading more on it, it looks like it's probably the bank fraud that got them the additional
Mm.
years and what seems excessive. So combined, the two of them have 19 years to serve in prison. Now, with that coming, y'all, well, people who watch the show know that they have adopted their granddaughter, Chloe, who
Mhm.
is the daughter of their son, who was a drug abuser. Um, Now, their oldest daughter, I forgot her name, their oldest daughter has retained custody of her since both of her parents have been sentenced. But now, the little girl's mother, who does not have any rights to her because, like I said, the granddaughter is adopted by the Chrisleys. The little girl's mother is coming back and she wants to fight for her custody. Her name is Angela Johnson. I'm reading this from Reality Blurb. It says that she's vowed to regain custody of the 10-year-old who she shares with Todd and Julie Christie's son, Kyle. They had her in 2012. They had joint custody of her, the parents did, until Kyle lost custody of his daughter during his drug addiction in 2016. So in 2016, the custody was handed over to the grandparents, Todd and Julie. In that same year, Angela was arrested for filing a fraud application for Medicaid. She also lost custody of Chloe. I have
Mm.
been
Mm.
hearing from people online that Angela is also on drugs.
Mm.
But this article is not saying anything about that. But basically, she wants her kid back. I don't think she's going to get the kid back because the kid is already adopted. I don't think you can just get kids back after you've adopted them. But I think it's interesting that this is the first time we're hearing that you want your daughter back now that the Chrisleys have been served, and we haven't heard anything before.
Mm. I wonder, have we not heard anything before? Because I
I
feel like
haven't.
people have been saying things about this little girl before, but I don't know what that was about. But I feel like
Mm.
there have been other stories surrounding this little girl. Um, but either way, I mean, well, who gonna get custody of the little girl when they go to jail?
Her
The
older sister,
sister.
so her
The
aunt.
sister. Okay, so her aunt. Okay. All right. Well,
Yeah, the mother feels like, let me read this. She says, so Savannah is the sister who now has custody.
right. Okay.
It says, as far as Savannah goes with Chloe, I don't think it's right, Angela says, because at the end of the day, I'm her biological mother. I was cut out of her life. I didn't walk away from her. I was pushed out of her life, and they, the Chrisleys, wanted me to forget about Chloe, and they wanted Chloe to forget about me.
I could see that being true. I could see what
Mhm.
that lady's saying to be true because of the story that was going around about what's her name, Sarah, not Sarah Jakes, but what's the other one? Ain't TD Jakes' daughter.
Yeah, I was thinking about that
So
too.
Oh,
Yeah, you're right.
that
yeah,
was a good point.
based on how they pushed her out. So I think that's very possible. But I also think that it should be kind of. I think they need to start taking into consideration children's feelings. You know what I'm saying? If
Yeah,
a
who does
person can
I
go
want to
to
go with?
jail or prison for violating a child, then yeah, a child should be able to speak up and say which parent they would prefer to live with, which parent they feel comfortable with, and maybe it'll cut down on a lot of abuse some of these kids go through. And if that little girl feels safer with that family, let her stay. But I don't think that the mother should be without rights to her kid in some capacity. You know, now, if
Mm.
she's been on drugs and stuff, then y'all get her tested, do whatever y'all need to do, have supervised visits or whatever. But I do think that child's feelings, how where she wants to be. I think her voice should definitely be considered in that case. But I don't know
I agree.
if you can't give her like a better lifestyle than what she had when she got snatched away. Then I don't know if you should really get her, man. I
Right.
don't know
Yeah,
about
that's the
that.
thing. If her lifestyle is gonna change, that's where I'm like, ugh, I don't
Right.
know.
Yeah, she
And who
used
knows if she
to
even
some
know you? Like that might be they are her parents, the people that she know that raised her already going to jail. And you want to put her with somebody who she's never really been around? Like,
right.
what in the losing Isaiah is going on?
Right. I saw somebody else say the exact same thing. Somebody else said that.
Because
Mm.
that's what it felt like.
Yeah, I hate it. So I guess we'll just have to stay tuned because she says that she has the paperwork to prove that she did not commit Medicaid fraud. So we'll see. What a crazy thing to get your child taken away from you for Medicaid fraud. That's crazy. Okay, so let's move on from that to talking about April Jones and Tay Diggs. The streets
Ooh.
are saying, the people are saying that they are engaged. April has been seen wearing this thin band on her ring finger. So are y'all here? You know, we talked about Tay Diggs and April Jones for a little while. And at first it was extremely awkward for me, where I was like, I don't know, this is cringe. But I feel like they actually display joy when they're together. And now that I've seen, I'm gonna tell y'all what changed that for me. What changed that for me is seeing her daughter with him in the videos.
Mm.
That's what made me feel like it was real. So I personally am happy for them if that's what it is. Um, but yeah, what do y'all think about April and Tay?
I feel
I heard they actually are married and got married over the weekend in a private ceremony. Um,
Mm.
that's what I heard.
yeah. And I'm excited for them. Like you could tell she seems super happy. And I don't know,
They're
I just like
hilarious.
them.
I
They
like
are.
it.
That's what won me over. They like they little TikToks and reels
Oh,
and
bruh.
stuff. Tay Diggs is
Hilarious.
hilarious.
Bruh. Ever
I
since
love
they
them.
had the what was it, the shirt sets from like Walgreens or CVS or something. Like it
Hmm.
was some clothes they bought from CVS, and Tay Diggs was modeling that shit, and she had on the same thing. And I remember I laughed so hard at that video that I was just like, "Well,
That
shit,
was a
if
good
they
one.
like it, I love it." So from then on, she seemed happier. She ain't been in no mess. He seems to be treating her well. It don't seem like there's no
Yeah.
mess going on. So I'm happy for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the fact that I don't know, you know how sometimes people go through really rough relationships and then they end up finding like a really good person. It does make me question that relationship with Omarion. We know LaFiz was
Oh, it
trash,
was
but it
him.
makes me question.
It was him. It was absolutely him too. Because girl, go back and watch the first season of Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. The first two seasons of that show, it was absolutely Omarion. Like we understood why April and Fizz kind of joined forces at one point because Omarion was an asshole to everybody. He
Yeah,
wasn't
they was
answering.
mad.
Yeah, he wasn't answering Fizz's phone calls. But it wasn't until we found out that April and Fizz were in an actual relationship, and it seemed like they was trying to throw it in Omarion's face, and he
Yes.
was oblivious to the bullshit. That was the moment everybody started liking him. Before that, we ain't like
Correct.
we hadn't been fucking with him since that first solo album he came out with. Like nigga, I
Mm.
ain't like you since
Oh.
Right.
okay. And then he ruined it again. We was fucking with him, but then he ruined it again. Um, First of all, him and his brother are Kevin Samuels fans, so that was the first thing. You
Oh,
know,
really? Oh, yeah. You said they shared when he passed away, right?
yes. And to me, that me know all of who the misogynistic assholes were, all of the people that wanted us to, rest in peace to, the man who was up here telling y'all that domestic violence doesn't happen and shit like that. So like
Right, but be acting like he love and light. You cannot be loving light.
exactly. Exactly. And now y'all saw he
Mm-mm.
was selling $200 tickets to come to a meditation with him. I said, nigga, how dare you charge that much for meditation?
Negative
Really?
won't be there.
Yeah, remember, I think I sent it to the DMs.
Mm.
Because
Mm-mm.
he was coming here, and I thought it was a show, and I was tempted, and then I saw the price, and I was like, nah, you got me fucked up, Omarion. You've been being bitch made this year. I can't spend $200 on a meditation with you when I know it's not real.
Right, exactly. Nothing but a money grab. If I'm gonna meditate, for me, I'm gonna meditate with Janae Aiko for sure.
You
Cause
know,
she be about that life. I don't know what he be on.
I love it. This second baby,
Yeah.
her and Big Sean.
I know. I love it. Love to see
Yeah,
it.
it's
Cause
lovely.
he battled depression and stuff, so I'm really happy for him. For
Yeah,
both
no, they.
of
I
them.
mean, they broke up and everything, and got back
Yeah.
together, and it was meant to be. We love to
Yeah.
see it, but
Well,
we don't know what really going on. So don't be acting like we ain't couple goaling no motherfuckers. Okay, so calm down,
hell
everybody.
no.
Oh
Hell
God.
no.
I gotta say that because you think somebody cute and then all of a sudden,
All right, everybody have their
Right?
shit.
yeah.
It's just different shits.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, all right, y'all. That's all we got for this episode of Ooh Ladies First Panel. Y'all already know what to do, where to follow us. Email us at oohladiesfirstpanel@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Ooh Ladies First. Bonnie at Bonnie Blue, Jamie, that's me. And you can also follow me at Nisi Dixon, okay? This is pre-recorded. I have to say the date, December 5th, 2022. Just in case anything additional happens. So y'all won't be in the comments like, why did y'all talk about it on the live? This is pre-recorded, okay? So shout out to the members who watched this live. And for
You heard
everybody else, we will see y'all on Thursday. Have a good night.